Hey guys, it's Marshall Tingle with your Superior Ag Insurance Ringside Report for this past week, the week of November 20th through the 26th. So, before I even get started, I just want to say I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday. I really got to take some time and spend with their families, their loved ones, and just kind of reflect, like we said last week, on our many blessings. You know, each and every one of us are so very fortunate. Even on our worst days would be somebody's best day. So just always be thankful and always be appreciative of the blessings that each and every one of us have. But let's talk about this cattle market. So, cattle market is pretty stereotypical of what you'd expect on a Thanksgiving holiday week. Light runs, kind of spotty on your trade, but I do have to say, as a whole, there were some instances of these cattle trading upwards, steady to a little bit higher. They can't really come out and say the USDA said there was not enough to compare. I want to read through the lines on it. I'm going to tell you, say steady to $3 higher, but there were some instances of cattle being cheaper just because of the holiday week. You know, it's so hard to get trucks underneath of them and get those drivers back home in time for their family. And then nobody really wants to start a fresh set of calves when companies coming and knocking over on your door. Your mother-in-law is showing up in 30 minutes. Not always the best of ideas, but hey, it's what it is. So let's talk about these real fast. So four-weight steer cattle this week still trading pretty good on the top side. $1.50 to $2.07 is what your four-weight traded for last week. I'm going to call them about $1.85 on the average. You had anywhere from $1.80 to $1.89. Some lower than that, so I'm going to call them about $1.85. Now, your five-weight steers this week, you're looking at $143 to $189. So that's still a pretty good trade. Now, the average on these, it's going to be a little bit here, there, and everywhere. You had some of them in the $1.70 range, $1.75 range, and then you had some drastically cheaper than that. I'm going to be kind of go out on a limb here. I'm going to say about $1.72 would be about your average. So just call them $1.70 to $1.75. But let's talk about these yearlings. So, like I said, the biggest thing right now in these yearlings is just strictly transportation and desire, demand for them, and people trying to start these cattle on a holiday week. But they did trade well and trade pretty comparable to what your CME feeder cattle index was. Now, there wasn't many of them traded. You only saw them primarily on the first half of the week. So, say Monday, Tuesday was about it because it's so hard to get those drivers and everything back by Thursday. But we did see a few good runs on Tuesday. Not much the rest of the week. Many of your yards were closed. And those that were open probably had less than 500 as a whole. But let's talk about these real fast. So yearling market did look good. So here's 53 head of yearlings, 821-pound steers. They're all mixed at 171. So that's a really good trade considering that it's a holiday week and they're mixed cattle. Let's talk about these. Here's a set of all blacks to compare to now. Here's 61 head of these. These are all black-hided steers, 845 pounds on the average. 174.90. So that's right there with your CME feeder cattle index, which is really, really good. Now here's 60 head on these. These are going to be black and mixed too, so a little bit of price variation on these. There's, like I said, 60 head on them, 852 pounds on the average, $1.71. So you're right there by competitive with what they have been trading for a mixed set. Now, here's a big set of nines. They're light nines. They're 58 head of these. All black steers as well. 910 pounds on the average. You're looking at 170.70. So that's still pretty good. It's a little bit back from your CME feeder cattle index, but being in Kentucky, being on a holiday week, and being on the top side of that range, it's still a pretty strong trade. Now, let's talk about what your CME feeder cattle index did for the week. So, start off the week Monday the 21st. You're at 174.64. Tuesday the 22nd, 174.83. Wednesday the 23rd, still pretty consistent here, 174.29. Now, Thursday, we did see a little bit of a valley. You're at Thursday the 24th, you're at 173.63. Now, Friday, when the markets opened back up, there were several really big cash sales going through there, some premium sales that came out on Friday, and that made that CME feeder cattle index jump drastically. So Friday the 25th, you're looking at 177.19. So that's almost a solid $3 jump from what we had Monday. Like I said, you had a lot of special sales come out across your big states there, and that, I think, really made an increase on your CME feeder cattle index. But let's talk about what's going forward. So not really much to compare to this past week, but the future does look good. From what I've looked at as far as your cash trade, as far as the start of the week, here it is Tuesday afternoon, your Monday sales were looking good. Just about everywhere I looked, you're looking at steady to $3 higher, up to $5 higher. Strong demand on your yearlings, look like $2 higher on your yearlings. That's a really good sign. Now, let's talk about your boards. Boards are up. Live cattle are up all the way down through there. Everything is up. Feeder cattle are up. Look like feeder cattle contracts were still going on the up all the way out to September 2023. And then looks like your corn was actually down a little bit. So your soybeans were up, but your corn was down. So that's kind of what's going on in your futures board to start this week out. I think cattle market's going to jump up. I would expect some bigger runs as we're fixing to get right here to December, and then everybody's going to try to make up for some lost ground that they couldn't get bought or couldn't get traded there at the end of last week. So that's what I foresee going forwards. Now, if you have any questions on an LRP policy, a livestock risk protection policy, either on an existing set of cattle that you have or some that you want to put in on a set of cattle now, that could be feeder cattle, that can be calves, that can be unborn calves even, like a calf crop. So if you have any questions on an LRP, a livestock risk protection policy, feel free to reach out to us. Call Ian Thomas at Superior Ag Insurance. That's Ian Thomas, 859-613-2453. Check us out on the web, www.superioragins.com. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.